Welcome to WiseMo Tutorials. This tutorial will give you an overview of how to prepare a Windows computer for remote control. Please look in the instruction videos page in the My Cloud menu to the left. Remote controlling a device requires two apps. One app on the device you want to control, we call that the host, and another app on the device you want to control from, we call that the guest. The functionality of Remote Desktop is simply transferring the host screen from the host to the guest and send keyboard and mouse events from the guest to the host. Let's look at the My Cloud user interface. At this point, you should have created and verified a My Cloud domain. Please log in to your My Cloud domain. When you log in the first time, you will be sent to the deployment page because you need to install at least one host app on a device that you can remote control. If you just created a domain, My Cloud will suggest a series of actions you will need to do to have your first successful remote control connection. Here we can see that My Cloud suggests to install a host app. My Cloud will detect the kind of host you need for the operating system you are running on. So if you want to install a host on this device, which is a Windows computer, you can simply click on the host app link. If you have dismissed this message, you can find all the pre-configured deployment configurations in the host column below. You can edit, delete, and create new configurations. You can even pre-configure all settings of the host app that will be installed. Find the Windows configuration and click it. Here you can download the host MSI installer for Windows. Download the installation program and run it. The installer will present a wizard that you should go through by clicking the Next button. Click Next. Accept the license agreement and click Next. Change the folder if you want to install to a different folder and click Next. Make sure the Allow Host to Communicate through Windows Firewall is checked. The Install Smart Card Reader makes it possible for a remote user to use his or her local smart card reader as if it was physically attached to this computer. Click Install. Windows will prompt you to allow the installation program to install the host app. This screen will look differently depending on whether the Windows user you are logged in with is a local administrator or not. If the user is an administrator, it will simply be a yes/no prompt. In this case, where the user is a simple user, you will have to specify a user account with administrative permissions. Click Yes to continue. Wait for the installation to complete and click Finish. This will launch the Host Manager interface. The user interface will normally be hidden when you log into Windows. You can manually show the user interface from the tray if it's hidden. Find the host icon with the cloud and the blue stripes and double-click to show the Host Manager. Before moving on, I'll just explain a bit about the configuration of the host app you just installed. When deployed from My Cloud, the host app is pre-configured to join your My Cloud domain. If we look at the Remote Control Guest page, you can already see your computer here. The host app is also configured to use My Cloud device access control, where authentication and authorization is controlled centrally via the My Cloud web interface. In this interface, you can control who's allowed to connect to which device and what they're allowed to do. By default, all My Cloud users are allowed to do everything on all devices. You will probably want to change that. There's a separate tutorial about My Cloud device access control. Back to the Host Manager. The Host Manager consists of a navigation pane, a status and configuration pane, and a ribbon toolbar. This page shows the host status. Here you can see that the host is running, meaning it's ready for remote control. Also, we can see the host ID and username, which is information the guest user can see and use to identify which device to connect to. The IP address is only relevant for direct connections over TCP. In this group, you can see which protocols the host can receive connections on. In this case, it can receive connections over the internet via the MyCloud domain WiseMo demo and on the TCP and UDP protocols. When there's an active remote control connection, you will see it in the active guest connections list. Note that the host can have multiple simultaneous connections. In this next pane, you can easily see who's been connected to your computer. There's an advanced logging functionality with much more details that I'll show a bit later. Finally, there's a send message functionality where a guest user can send a message to the host, and these messages are saved here. The next tab we have in the navigation pane is the configuration tab. Here you can configure a lot of program options and security features for the host app. In general, you can, for example, configure the host to not to be available for remote control connections when it starts. You can also configure it to stop accepting connections after a certain period of time. In host name, you can change the name that is shown to the guest user. By default, it will use your computer name. When changing something, you should remember to press the apply button. Some changes will take immediate effect, and others will prompt you to press the restart button in the ribbon menu. In guest access privileges, you can see that the host app is configured for MyCloud device access control. You can also see that even though you would make a connection via TCP, it will use your domain for authentication. The host can be configured to use other authentication methods than MyCloud device access control, for example to use Windows Security Management. With Windows Security Management, guest users are authenticated with their local Windows account or their Windows domain account. By placing the Windows users and groups in the various roles, you can control what they are allowed to do when connected. You can even require that the guest user should be two-factor authenticated. Let's jump to logging. There are a lot of events that you can log. You can log it to a local plaintext file or to the Windows event log, both locally or on another Windows computer, a Windows server for example. The last thing I will show you is the maintenance password. The maintenance password can protect two things: configuration changes and starting and stopping the computer from receiving remote control connections. When a maintenance password is configured, the user will be prompted for the password when applying configuration changes or when starting or stopping listening for connections. This concludes this tutorial. If you need help with installation of a host on another operating system, please find the video in the instruction videos page. Thank you for watching.